Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tiravanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Shri Harinam Sankirtana Yajna ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Radhadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome Adinath Krishna Prabhu. I was thinking actually we are so fortunate, even though our BYS is small, like as compared to the number of devotees there are in Brooklyn and Boston, Dallas and all. But I really appreciate the sincerity of the devotees, like to attend the morning program every day. Very good actually. This is the best thing we have. We attend the Mangal Aarti and Narsingh Aarti, Tulsi Aarti every single day. Like I'm just, it's so good. And then we do japa there, and then here this Guru Puja and Bhagavatam. Really good actually. May Shri Krishna bless all the devotees. Really very, very happy about this. I know life is tough, like doing the work and school, and yet to maintain that consistency. Yeah. So of course we cannot be fanatics. Sometimes if your health demands, you need to do the needful. At the same time, this sincerity in doing is like really, I really salute, hats off. And similarly, our participation in sharing Krishna consciousness to the youths, I hope will also increase. But life is tight already. But on the weekends and all, like at least this Bhakti Sangha program, something is going on. I really appreciate. Thank you. So yesterday we completed up to verse number 21. Like 20 and 21 only yesterday we could do. And today we'll try to see from 22nd onwards. So again, these are not recitable. So we'll read the translation. Yes, Prabhu. You would like to read?
Swayambhuva Manu, with the assistance of Lord Brahma, thus fulfilled his desires. With the permission of the great sage Narada, he delivered to his son the governmental responsibility for maintaining and protecting all the planets of the universe. He thus achieved relief from the most dangerous, poisonous ocean of the material desires.
Yeah. It's interesting that he has been trying to convince, Swayambhu Manu has been trying to convince Priyavratha in this entire chapter. And then finally with the help of Lord Brahma, he could convince. And now Priyavratha is accepting the responsibilities. And Swayambhu Manu is handing over, see, take all this poison. So, when we accept responsibility on behalf of the Lord, it's not poison. But yes, practically it is tough in this world, even if you are collecting funds for Krishna or making a temple for Krishna, still it is, you have to deal with matter. That's gonna be tough. But because we are doing it on behalf of Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, we get rewarded with spiritual credits. Like Arjuna was fighting the war with the same weapons, with the similar weapons as was Duryodhana. Same battleground and for the same post in the same kingdom. So yes, materially, the pain is inevitable or the austerity is inevitable. But Duryodhana was not being blessed by Krishna. He was rather getting implicated in karma because he was acting for himself. And Arjuna was not acting for himself, rather he was acting for the Lord, for the society. And therefore, what he was going to get was spiritual blessings. So that difference is there. A man doing a job, even though a tough job, but for the sake of maintaining his family out of love, his experience in doing a job is far better than a person simply doing the job for the sake of doing the job. Because he has a loving motivation. But when there is a motivation of bhakti, so first of all there is no implication in karma, and second, when that offering is it's a labor of love actually. At the same time, yes, because Swayambhu Manu was of that age that he should be giving up all that thing. He was the father of Priyavratha. So from his point of view, yes, it's poisonous ocean of material desires. Purport: Swayambhu Manu was practically hopeless because such a great personality as Narada was instructing his son Priyavratha not to accept household life. Now he was very pleased that Lord Brahma had interfered by inducing his son to accept the responsibility for ruling the government of the universe. From the Gita, we get information that Vaivasvata Manu was the son of the sun god and that his son Maharaja Ikshvaku ruled this planet Earth. Swayambhu Manu, however, appears to have been in charge of the entire universe and he entrusted to his son Maharaj Priyavratha the responsibility for maintaining and protecting all the planetary systems. Dhara Mandala means planet. This earth, for instance, is called Dhara Mandala. Akhila, however, means all or universal. It is therefore difficult to understand where Maharaj Priyavratha was situated. But from this literature, his position certainly appears greater than that of Vaivasvata Manu, for he was entrusted with all the planetary systems of the entire universe. Another significant statement is that Swayambhu Manu took great satisfaction from abnegating the responsibility for ruling all the planetary systems of the universe. At present, politicians are very eager to take charge of the government, and they engage their men in canvassing from door to door to get votes to win the post of president or a similar exalted office. On the contrary, however, herein we find that King Priyavratha had to be persuaded by Lord Brahma to accept the post of emperor of the entire universe. Similarly, his father Swayambhu Manu felt relieved to entrust the universal government to Priyavratha. Thus, it is evident that the kings and executive heads of the government in the Vedic age never accepted their positions for sense enjoyment. Such exalted kings, who were known as Rajarishis, ruled only to maintain and protect the kingdom for the welfare of the citizens. The history of Priyavratha and Swayambhu Manu describes how exemplary, responsible monarchs perform the duties of government with disinterest, keeping themselves always aloof from the contamination of mental attachment. See, this is a very important thing, that in the Vedic time, the kings, the younger people were not eager to take up the kingdom. They were eager to serve, but not eager to take up the post. They had to be persuaded. And the elder guys, they were very, like, they were looking forward to leave it. Okay, it's not like they were irresponsible, they were extremely responsible. And yet they were very eager to give it up, which means they were not eager for sense enjoyment. They were not there for the privileges which came with it, but they were there for the service responsibility. We find in Ramayana also that Ram was absolutely not at all eager to have the kingdom's like rule. And Bharat Maharaj, like that Rama and Bharat Maharaj, he also was not ready to, he was not willing to take up the kingdom. But he said that I will execute the responsibility till the time you come, like 14 years, I will execute the responsibility on your behalf, but I will not be taking the privileges of the kingdom. So he lived like a mendicant, but he executed the responsibilities of a king. And as soon as the 14th year got over, he said, Ram, you need to come the very next day, otherwise I will commit suicide. Which means when it is time to hand over to you, I will hand over. What a character, isn't it? Such character. And today they are just fighting. First of all, they don't even have the qualification and character to rule. They don't know the principles of, what are the principles of ruling? Unless one knows the principles of for a good society, how can he take decisions? Isn't it? Right. Prabhu is principal architect. So, to take decision for developing a software, right? One needs to be competent in that. One needs to have experience of that. So today's politicians, they don't have that. They don't have that kind of character, and then they're just fighting with each other. So Prabhupada says further in the purport, little later, Manu wanted to seek shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore when his son Priyavratha took charge of his worldly affairs, Manu was very relieved. That is a system of Vedic civilization. At the end of life, one must free himself from worldly affairs and completely engage in the service of the Lord. So actually, the goal of life is to be defeated by the spiritual master and Sri Krishna again and again. So here Narada Muni was defeated by Brahma, because Narada Muni's opinion was, Priyavratha Maharaj should stick to Brahmacharya ashram. But then he agreed, okay, Hari Bol, no problem. So this willingness to shed one's ego and be malleable, be flexible, be adjustable by the will of Guru and Krishna is actually the victory of a disciple, is success of a disciple. Like our own Srila Prabhupada, he was so happy when he was defeated in that famous argument in 1922 in Kolkata, right, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He entered the Matha first time, and he got into an argument with Saraswati Thakur. Saraswati Thakur was telling that the most urgent need in this world is to spread Krishna consciousness, to spread the spiritual knowledge. And Abhay, Prabhupada, like then a young man, Abhay, he said, like, but Swamiji, I think first we should get the political independence for our country. That time Britishers were ruling India. And then we can think of, all this, like, spiritual knowledge and all this. Saraswati Thakur said, no. The most urgent thing and the root cause of all the problems of life is actually lack of spiritual knowledge. So the most urgent thing is to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. So that was not taken very well by Abhay. Abhay said, okay. It was not like it was not like Abhay was, for the sake of argument, wanted to make his point. No, but he actually was genuine in his. He actually felt convinced, no, first political independence is needed. And as a young man, he had taken part in all those activities under Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose and all. So then he actually sat down and had a couple of hours argument with Saraswati Thakur. And Saraswati Thakur proved to him with logic, with reason, with scriptures, and with practical understanding that, see, all the problems can be solved if there is spiritual elevation of people's consciousness. And he said that is the ultimate thing, like birth, old age, disease and death. So when Abhay was leaving from that place, now this is a 26-year-old man, he had tears of joy in his eyes. Although he was publicly humiliated in one sense. But he says, so happily he says to his friend Narendra, who brought him there, he said, thank you so much. First time in my life I have been defeated by someone. Because throughout his life he was a topper, like whether in academics, whether in business, he had, Prabhupada had patents in his name. Even today, some of the medicines in the neurology department of medical world are actually patents in the name of Abhay Charande. Yeah, he made the medicines. He made the formulas, chemical formulas. He was predicted to be the highest, to have become the highest businessman of India, had he not taken the spiritual path. He was absolutely brilliant person, but in music, in dealings with people, in his memory and scholarship, absolutely like a benchmark personality. So this person, says that I'm so happy that today I was thoroughly defeated because I learned the right thing. And he said that the movement of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the right hands. This Saraswati Thakur is such an enlightened personality. And then he decided, today I have found my spiritual master and I'll follow him for the rest of my life. Amazing. So here also Narada Muni is happily accepting. Not like he is grudging. Unnecessarily this Brahma came and I had to... No, not like that. So that's how the charge was handed over. Yeah. The next verse. Yeah, would you like to read? Translation.
Following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaja Priyavratha fully engaged in worldly affairs. Yet he always thought of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are the cause of liberation from all material attachment. Although Priyavratha Maharaj was completely free from all material contamination, he ruled the material world just to honor the orders of his superiors.
Yeah. We have seen this in the devotees that although they may not be interested in having a leadership position or in having some opulences or even in having respect, like as a sannyasi or as a senior person, but they do so only in order to serve. So this character actually proves the greatness of the process of devotional service. That devotional service is able to inspire such pure character in the hearts of practitioners. Shukdev Goswami says in Srimad Bhagavatam that when we are chanting the names of Krishna, we are getting purified of our own lust, anger, greed and everything. How can Krishna's character be bad? Isn't it? Just by chanting whose holy name, we are getting purified. How can his character be having any discrepancy, any contamination. So Krishna's dealings with gopis while he's dancing with them in the rasa dance or in any of the dealings actually, Krishna is all pure. He is samam bonam. He's totally pure. So, for the sake of honoring Srila Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada disciples also, they took leadership, they accepted leadership or even guruship roles like in many places. But then they remain at their heart a humble servant. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, the last line of the first paragraph, one who always thinks of the lotus feet of the Lord is certainly above all the contamination of the material world. So if we can remain always in touch with the Lord, then we will never be affected by the contamination of this world. Therefore, like this morning program, chanting of the holy name sincerely, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, these are like lifesavers, while being in the midst of this dirty world. So the last verse which we will read from this chapter is now 24th. Vishal.
Thereafter, Maharaj Priyavratha married Bahismati, the daughter of the Prajapati named Vishwakarma. In her, he begot 10 sons equal to him in beauty, character, magnanimity, and other qualities. He also begot a daughter, the youngest of all, named Urjaswati.
Yeah. So see, this purport is very enlightening. You can try to hear it. Maharaj Priyavratha not only carried out the order of Lord Brahma by accepting the duties of the government, but also married Bharishmati, the daughter of Vishwakarma, one of the Prajapatis. Since Maharaj Priyavratha was fully trained in transcendental knowledge, he could have returned home and conducted the business of government as a brahmachari. You agree?
Yeah.
See, what was the proposal? Please take care of the responsibility of the planet, right? Where is the question of marriage? I mean, he could have done it as a brahmachari, right? Simple? Now see. Instead, however, when he returned to household life, he accepted a wife also. The principle is that when one becomes a grahastha, he must live perfectly in that order, which means he must live peacefully with a wife and children. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first wife died, his mother requested him to marry for a second time. He was 20 years old and was going to take sannyas at the age of 24. Yet by the request of his mother, he married. As long as I am in household life, I must have a wife. For household life does not mean staying in a house. Real household life means living in a house with a wife. See, what it means is, people today want to have their own customized ashram. There are so many devotees who don't get married only at the age of 30, 35, or devotees who, sorry, it's not personal, just, and there are some devotees who say, Prabhu, I don't want to join brahmacharya ashram, I don't want to get married either. So they remain like, like coasting along, in their life.
Yeah.
Why? I'll tell you why this thing comes. It's like live in brahmachari, Why this thing? Because being in brahmacharya ashram means following some rules, regulations, following some authority. Okay? Not being totally independent. And in grahastha ashram also, one is bound by some duties and responsibilities. And even wife also disciplines, kind of. There are, it's natural, Then there are, like, one has to become humble when one has to take care of the kids, get them whatever, and one has to be accountable, one has to earn. Similarly, brahmacharya ashram also brings responsibilities, accountabilities. Okay, it brings character, like one cannot just freely enjoy. And even in grahastha life, one cannot just freely enjoy. But people like to be bachelors, not bound by anything, anyone, enjoy life. Not enjoy life in a wrong sense, but Shastras say no, accept one of the ashramas as per at the right time in the right attitude. And that will lead to, because we are accepting the authority of the Shastras. and that will lead to purification. Because accepting responsibilities, following the authority of the Supreme Lord through the medium of Guru or Shastra, in any of the ashramas, which are created by the Lord, and that's why they are perfect, that leads to purification of the heart. So much so that this person is coming out of the Brahmacharya ashram. He had no necessity to accept a wife, right? Could have just done his duties. But why? Now the question may come, why? Why should I accept? Just because it is written in the scriptures? There is a reason also. When certain age is there, or when certain kind of engagements are there, there are some modes also associated with that. Like when you are ruling, when you are instructing people, when you are dealing with money, dealing with power, there is some amount of passion one has to deal with. And it disturbs the mind unless one has, a wife, one has kids or household duties. So then that keeps the person safe, as was discussed few verses before. Like you may remember that the household life with a wife is like a fort, it's like a fortress which protects the king. So unless one accepts that kind of life, one's mind remains disturbed. But the way the Shastras have arranged and organized the rules and regulations of any of the ashramas, the person remains very protected. So that is the idea. And by following the rules and regulations, one becomes purified of the past karma. So therefore here also he is doing this. Now it's not like it's a total necessity. One may just chant Hare Krishna, in whatever situation also. It's not like it is sin to not do this or that. It's not like that. But it's very risky. It's very risky actually. Also what happens is, like one gets married later in the later age, then like the kids are not born that healthy. And what happens, the kids, while they're young only, the parents become old. So there are many implications, of everything. So if one enters Grahastha ashram at the right age, then he can quit also at the right age. That is another thing. When a girl is married at the right age, her heart goes out only for the husband. Otherwise, what happens when one is like unmarried, unengaged in the age of 24, 25, 30, 32, then like mentally one is attracted to so many actually. Sometimes one is even engaged with so many, whether a boy or a girl. So the system of ashramas which is described in the Shastra is actually very scientific. Very scientific. And when one lives through it, one can experience actually it does make sense. So previously there was not even all this contraceptive methods, or because in marriage when the man and woman unite, it was for producing a kid. So Prabhupada says, see, even further, like the third paragraph you can see. Sometimes we are criticized. We means Prabhupada. Because although I am a sannyasi, I have taken part in the marriage ceremonies of my disciples. It must be explained, however, that since we have started a Krishna conscious society, and since a human society must also have ideal marriages, to correctly establish an ideal society, we must take part in marrying some of its members, although we have taken to the path of renunciation. This may be astonishing to persons who are not very interested in establishing Daiva Varnashrama, the transcendental system of 4 social orders and 4 spiritual orders. So Prabhupada says that he was also criticized. How can a sannyasi be conducting marriages for some disciples? But Prabhupada said, it's better than live in relationships, they have marriages. So Prabhupada actually wanted to establish that follow the Shastra, either in Grihastha ashram or in Brahmacharya ashram or in Sannyasa ashram, but follow the Shastra and then perform devotional service. So because no one else was there, Prabhupada himself had to conduct and teach that culture. That. Yeah. So after this, like the Priyavratha rules very nicely for thousands of years. It conducts its responsibilities, and unfortunately, he slips away from devotional service, because that is the nature of. See, Krishna just wants to teach through his example. That is the nature of material involvement. So even as a devotee, even while rendering service, we should clearly define some limits for ourselves. Like, one cannot extend, the body has certain biological needs. One cannot just extend like a superhuman person. 18 hours every day I am rendering seva. And when I am chanting, when I am taking rest, when I am eating, so the body will collapse actually. So one has to have a balanced life. Okay. So similarly, one cannot accept too many responsibilities. One will go mad. One will become irritable. Like his dealings will also become very irritating. So he'll lose it, like he'll lose his cool also. So therefore, one has to have a balanced life. One should accept also. One may have oceanic service attitude, desire to serve, but one should accept that which he can consistently and sustainably he can render that seva, and for which he should not be like stressed, overly stressed. Some stress definitely is kind of healthy, to be productive, but not overly actually, because then the person will get into further complications. He'll offend devotees, and he'll destroy his health, he'll destroy his own sadhana, bhakti, like that. So consistent, balanced, whatever best we can do happily, that way. Similarly, even a grihastha spending his funds for Krishna, one should not go to extreme. Oh, Prabhu, I'll give like 80%. I'll give like 2/3. No, that's not possible. One has to be honest. One may have oceanic desire. I want to give 100% to Krishna. Very good. Keep that desire and then give whatever best practically possible. Maybe 10%, maybe 20%, maybe 25%. That's up to the devotee. That depends on the situation. Can't judge. So, like that. So he slipped away because he indulged too much into like the worldly affairs. Actually, what happens sometimes, you can see in ISKCON leaders also, sometimes they don't delegate. Like now I am here, but there are almost like 15 centers for which I am responsible there in India, and there are hundreds of devotees. And there is like ISKCON North India, I am the vice chairman. ISKCON India Youth Council, I am the chairman for North India. So, and it's quite huge actually. Many other things are there. But I'll also be stressed out, and I'll also not be able to expand my services if I'm not willing to delegate. If I want to control everything, every decision should go through me. So unless we build teams and unless we learn to delegate, unless we maturely organize the priorities, we will be stuck. So sometimes ISKCON leaders do that. So they get overly indulged into matter. Similarly, like services do come, but ultimately we have to see that we have to do management and services and leadership in such a way that we can maximize the time for hearing and chanting. So even devotees who are on the leadership posts or managerial posts in spiritual society should ultimately try to ensure that the time for hearing and chanting expands. Another thing should be simplified. Simplify management, simplify material life, simplify other aspects of life, and maximize or expand the time and opportunity for hearing and chanting. Because the entire purpose of management or institutionalization or leadership or anything is to ultimately be absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna. It's a very important principle of management in ISKCON. Am I clear or?
Yes.
Yeah. So Priyavratha Maharaj unfortunately got overly indulged into the affairs. So responsibility doesn't mean you do everything. It means you ensure that it's done. And also one should not look for perfection, absolute perfection in all the services. It's not possible. Like in the college, I don't know how the grading system here is. Do they give pointers or grades or GPA, like out of 4? Out of 4. It's a very small scale. Huh? Okay. So anyways, like in India they give out of 10. You know? And that's what we had like in IITs and IITs. So let's say out of 4 now, what happens is, to get 4 is extremely difficult, isn't it? Now to get 3 or let's say 2.5 to 3.5 will be like alright. Even to get less than 2 or less than 1 will be like very difficult. I mean, you have to really be like useless, not understand anything. है ना? So any extremes are difficult. If you want to go from 2.5 to 3, okay, you may go by say some 1 unit of effort. To go from 3 to 3.5, it may require 2 units of effort. To go from 3.5 to 4, it will require 10 units of effort. Correct? Because you are going to the extreme. So an intelligent person may do like 5 degrees, you know, of 3.5 each, rather than doing 1 of 4. Don't compare it with the system. I'm just saying, similarly, one should not get too stuck. No. Till the time I don't understand, until unless I understand each word of this chapter of Prabhupada's book, I'll not go ahead only. No, you can't, then probably you may read only one book in entire life. Prabhupada wrote so many books. You go ahead, come back. Not that you are so frustrated with your today's japa, you are like whole day you are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You can't do that. So especially in services related to management and other things like cooking for a camp. So one has camp or yatra, one has to more maximize hearing and chanting rather than prasad should be perfect. You know, perfect means what? Okay, whatever best you can do, that is fine. Whatever optimal best, that is fine. One should not, like Priyavratha Maharaj, one should not get overly indulge into the managerial details. You know, okay, you have certain level of energy and time. In that, whatever best we can do and Hari Bol. So I am not a very good eloquent speaker, but I hope I am able to convey the principle that one should look for one's best in an optimal way, not go to extremes. Yeah, because by going to extreme, we may risk losing our own Krishna consciousness. So we want to serve because, you know, this rendering seva attracts blessings. I mean, that is the way you really get blessed. At the same time, like book distribution, how much I should do? So I should lose my own spiritual life, like my own sadhana bhakti, or I am struggling to get proper sleep. There is no point doing that much book distribution. You know, there was a story like this. There was a hen laying golden eggs. You know, I think we all have heard that story. So the person actually kills the hen to get more and more eggs. But had he been in a balance, had he been agreeing to like consistently in a balanced way keep feeding the hen and keep taking the eggs instead of being greedy in one day only, he could have just gone on and on. Similarly in our life also, actually, that not going to extreme of overindulgence in management or money or many other things. Do what's best possible in the given circumstances in a balanced way. Like otherwise devotee marriages also break because the husband is too much going to temple. So when he was not married, he was going every day to the temple. After he is married, can he may not be possible. He has to understand that he has to balance things. You know, otherwise the child and wife are telling, you don't have time for us. No, this is all material. I am giving my time to Krishna. Then why did you get married? You know, right? So one has to keep that balance. The golden word in life is the golden mantra of life, having a lifelong Krishna consciousness is balance. Gita itself talks so much about balance. So he got so much indulged into his management affairs and trying to excel every department and every aspect and every corner of his temple, of his kingdom, that he forgot to do sadhana or associate with devotees. Many times one may even chant 116 rounds, but one may not take out time and priority to associate with devotees, to hear, to learn from them in their association. Because that one is overindulging in, I'll do 14 hours job. Some people even do 2 jobs simultaneously to earn more money. Yeah, one online, one offline. People do that, these kind of things, okay?
Yeah, people do 4 5 jobs.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, 5
4,
jobs.
5 jobs, yeah. So that's fine if one has that superhuman capacity given by Krishna. So every person's capacity is actually different. Just the point here is, one should not lose on the main thing. The main thing in life is to make sure that the main thing remains the main thing. And that main thing is Krishna consciousness. So like that. But another good news is, because he got into that seva of ruling or temple management or whatever on behalf of the Lord, on the order of the Lord. So the Lord took it upon him to save him also. It's like you took the risk for me. So you are not even willing to get into this. That's why you are not willing to get into this, because there is a risk in dealing with matter. So when we do seva in Krishna's mission, there have been so many devotees in ISKCON who took risks for Prabhupada, who went out of the way, who extended themselves for Prabhupada. But then Prabhupada also protected them when they went to Maya. Even in the fag ends of their life, they experienced Prabhupada's mercy in a mystical way also, and they came back to Krishna consciousness. And they left their bodies remembering Krishna and they went back to Godhead, even after having 20 years of slip.
Wow.
Yeah, there have been cases like that. Because Prabhupada, when they served with their might, because in the creation phase of ISKCON, like the first 10, 20 years, devotees really had to extend like anything, surrender physically also, beyond human limits. But then Prabhupada was so pleased with some of them, Prabhupada actually was into tears. Prabhupada wrote, "Thank you so much, Krishna will bless you in this very life, because you are serving in this way." And so even those that slipped away, actually Krishna arranged for them to be with devotees in the fag ends and give them realizations. And then Prabhupada, there have been devotees whom Prabhupada himself came to escort the soul back to Godhead, at the last moment. So one should also know, when one takes risk on behalf of the Lord, that Lord will protect. This does not mean that do anything. Go to the top floor of a 10-floor building and jump. No, Krishna is not asking one to do that. One should not manufacture situations to test Krishna or to prove certain things. That's foolishness. But after trying to do our best, if something happens, we slip away or something happens, Krishna will definitely protect. That's his nature. Kaunteya prati janehi name bhakta pranashyati. So this is how this is what we wanted to cover in this chapter. And I hope it was very relevant and memorable. So we have 10 minutes. We can have some.
Prabhu, I just had a question about when you said that you have to take the ashram, a specific ashram.
Yeah.
Does it apply to time or circumstance? Because in this age right now, most marriages fail and only marry for 50%.
So join the temple
It's a risk.
full time. So one can join the temple full time.
So how does one? Oh, I see. So it's a choice. I have to choose.
It's a choice. I have to choose. Yeah.
And deal with that, even because the time,
Right.
because maybe in the Vedic age it was much more systematic and smooth, the process, but now it's really big risk.
If you get a right partner, Prabhu, then it is not so difficult. I mean, one can be fortunate if one gets a good partner, life partner.
But that's
So-
harder now relative to the past.
Yeah, it's harder. I absolutely agree with you. It's very hard, but it's not impossible. one more thing is, the basis of marriage or not marriage is not like how easy it is to find the partner, because it's brahmacharya life is also not so easy, because to control one's all the desires, and more important, to surrender. You know what is the meaning of brahmacharya life? It's not bachelor life, not marrying. Not marrying is a very small detail. You know what is the main thing? Brahman charati iti brahmachari, which means one's consciousness should always be absorbed into spiritual subject matters. So can you tolerate Krishna 24 hours a day? That is the question you have to ask. Because if my capacity is not like I'm not able to tolerate Krishna. Krishna means in the form of scriptures or book distribution or preaching, but I have to be Krishna conscious. I have to wear dhoti kurta only. Brahmachari means, and he cannot have his own earning. He can earn for Guru's mission, but he cannot have personal bank account. He may have personal bank account for some service reasons, practical reasons, but not like I build my property or one should depend upon Krishna. One should have that faith that Krishna will protect me. Avashya rakshibe Krishna. Aham tarishyame duranta param. That is the entire mantra of sannyas life or brahmacharya life. That Krishna will take care of everything. Because I am trying to be his surrendered soul. So what will happen to him in old age? That Krishna will see. Don't worry. Okay. So that faith should be there. Okay. Second thing, one should be willing to lead a simple life, a life of submission to Guru, not independent life. And third, one should be willing to be absorbed and work hard spiritually. Not like just relax being a brahmachari, like that. Okay, so if this thing is there, then yes, join brahmacharya ashram. Or continue to work for, if the temple is needing that, continue to work, but just like Jayanand Prabhu, he was driving a taxi. You not heard about him? Jayanand Prabhu was in, I believe he was in San Francisco only. So he used to drive taxi in the night hours, like between 9 to 1, between 8 to 1, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. to earn for the temple, because the temple did not have much money. And then he would take rest like for 3 or 4 hours, and then again attend the morning program. In the daytime, do services in the temple.
But that's a wage job, right? A wage job. Like, you can't have your boss, right?
No, I'm just sharing with you how brahmachari means he was living only for Prabhupada's sake.
Oh.
Okay. So, Guror Hitam, that is a word used. Brahmachari Guru Kule Vasandanto Guror Hitam. Living only for the sake of Guru. So, in previous ages, the brahmachari ideally would every day go out to do bhiksha, to beg like alms. And then he would return back and hand over all those things to Guru's property. So, Jayanand Prabhu was doing, like earning, with that taxis, and then all the money was used for Guru's mission only, the temple, not having a personal life in that way. Brahmachari does not have a private life in that sense. So, if he wants to take a decision, let me go to India or America or do this seva, that has to be, that should come from Guru. Guru should confirm the decisions. As a grahastha, one can have, okay, I am moving to that company in that city for a job. That's all right. But in a brahmachari's life, his life should be an offering to Guru. He should be like an extra hand now, third hand of Guru. Another brahmachari, fourth hand of Guru. So your hands or your limbs act for you, right? Yeah, they don't have their own separate. Imagine your hand, you are trying to walk towards the temple, and the legs say, no, we decided to go other direction. Hey, what kind of legs are you? Like you are my legs or whose legs? Like that. So people think brahmachari means bachelor. No, why a brahmachari does not get married is so that his entire time can be for Guru's service. So that his entire attention can be exclusively for Guru. So exclusive availability in Guru's service is actually brahmachari life, and therefore no marriage. Okay. And similarly, exclusive absorption in Krishna, and therefore no material life. Okay. So So Prabhu, you see what is your nature. If you are like, let's say in next couple of years, you actually feel so much drawn to Krishna consciousness, like all the core activities of Krishna consciousness, that you would love to have more and more of chanting, hearing, rendering seva, okay, preaching, then yes, naturally go for brahmacharya life. Otherwise, the person whom you get married to will be frustrated because your interest will be totally spiritual, and like she will say, so you know, so and you will not be happy doing a job also. It's just somehow doing. So better than that, be in brahmacharya ashram. And if one's nature is to be in grihastha ashram, that okay, I will do my chanting, I will do morning program, whatever best possible, I'll do seva, and I'll be very enthusiastic in the community of devotees. At the same time, I want a private home, like where I have my privacy, and I want a wife and kids, or I have desire to earn money and do something in my life. So have that. None of them are sinful, because both are allowed as per one's nature by the Shastra. Just like someone likes sweet, someone may like savory or some chili item. That's individual. And try to do your best. So in Grihastha ashram also, what is the success of Grihastha devotee? Don't compare him with Brahmachari. How many rounds he's chanting? Brahmachari has more time. But for a Grihastha devotee, so he has his duties and family responsibilities. He does that. Apart from that, how is he engaging his time and energy? And also, how he makes choices of his professional engagement also. And his family also, how he engages them in Krishna consciousness. His money also, how he engages that in Krishna consciousness. So then his life is also perfect. There is no comparison vis-a-vis in that way. It's the principles and duties one follows. In my situation, how am I able to offer my best? That is a criteria Krishna will see. Krishna is not a judge on a gross scale actually. He's very mature. He sees the person's individual life in totality, and then he sees, is he doing his best? Like Adinath Krishna was there, so he is having some responsibility due to his parents. Not that he took it up unnecessarily. No, I am enthused about doing more responsibility. No, one tries to minimize, but then there are some required. So he is doing, and that's an austerity, right? And he did not take up a sinful job. He actually took up a very fruits. And he's also a fruit vendor for Krishna. Right? So actually that is all right, that individually it may differ. Yeah. Prabhu is he's like half grihastha, But you see, he's supporting so many temples, with his money, and especially here, so much he's doing, practically in so many ways he's serving. So he just needs to have a wife also.
But is that wrong to be in the? You said it's a risk to be in the
Grihastha.
to work or do something worldly, but not get married.
Yeah, so it's late. What to do? This world's culture has become like that. We have to inspire devotees to do right thing at the right time. Like when I was 24 and almost 25, I joined ashram officially. Of course, before that also I was almost, like, even though I was working, but I was acting under my guru only. He said, because I knew I wanted to join ashram, so he said, go and do job in that city so that you can render this seva, preach there. So I took like that. I didn't, some job you have to do, okay. Then he told, so 3 times he told me to change my place. I changed. And as a brahmachari also, he sent me various places. Okay, first go and do seva here, then okay, now you can go to that temple. But now he told to come here. In fact, initially he had told me just permanently shift to US. Yeah, he told me, but then he saw that need was not there. Plus my other services also were needed there. In India, the GPCs who were my authorities, they said no, we want him to serve here. So Aisham initially told me to apply for permanent visa, like religious visa, and then shift here, get a green card and all. Yeah, he told me to coordinate youth outreach in all like many places. But then he later told me, okay, but okay, help in this way at least. But continue there. So one should be grahastha or a brahmachari. One should be a devotee trying his best to serve Guru's mission. That's the idea. You understand?
Yeah, so you're the guru. I guess the brahmachari is when you're serving the guru. The guru tells you what to do, and you follow that exclusively.
Grahastha also does the same thing, but if a guru says to grahastha, this month go to that city, that month, how will he do? Because he has a job.
Yeah.
So brahmachari is like almost totally free, except the basic needs of his body. The guru says, next 72 hours keep serving the prasad. He will die, na? So he has to. So guru will not say that also. Even if the guru says, he can just try to do his best, but then he just falls asleep there. I mean, that's not considered offense. Okay, he has to just do his best. Okay, try to understand. It's not like guru is like a demon or an unintelligent fool or it's like a foolish surrender, like blind surrender. It's not like that. It's a very mindful thing. Okay, and it's ultimately for Krishna, not for Guru. And Grahastha also, so he has some parameters of his life which he also can't help with, na? So that is fixed. That also he should try to engage in Krishna service. Okay, money he is earning, little money he gives. His wife and kids also, he tries his best to raise them in Krishna consciousness. Okay, he will try his best. At the same time, whatever now the possibilities or flexibilities there in his life, that he offers to Guru. Okay, you tell me how to use this time or energy or my talents or my position in society in Krishna's service. You tell me that. Like that. Does make sense? So now which ashram to choose, that should be dependent only on one factor. Only and only and only on one factor. Prabhu writes in the 8th canto, in Gajendra section. So Gajendra is a animal of land, okay, and crocodile is an animal of water, primarily. Both can survive in both the places, but lion is an animal of land only. Gajendra is elephant, Prabhu. Elephant also survives in water, na? Not that he swims, but like. So when Gajendra was fighting with crocodile, in the water, so Gajendra was, because his strength was very less in the water, because his natural habitat is on the land, and crocodile is extremely powerful in the water. Land, he goes for few feet, then he gets tired. But in the water, he is very, very powerful. So because they were in the water, Gajendra, even though a strong personality, but he was having tough time, and this crocodile was almost killing him. There Prabhupada says in the purport that the principle of ashrama is that if your strength to fight Maya is more in a particular ashram as per your personality, then you be in that ashram. It's not about being in the water or being on the land. Prabhupada says the fight with Maya must go on throughout our life. And where you can fight Maya better. So let's say now, like if I am a brahmachari type personality and I get married, then I'll be frustrated. Arey, daily this job, I'm not, my mind is not peaceful, and I'm like, and my wife is also frustrated because I am not like able to actually give that, and I don't produce kids, or I produce kids and I become irresponsible. So that is so wrong, Prabhu. Getting? That will be sinful. Okay? That will be sinful. To not do job as a grahastha, to not earn money and maintain family. It is not transcendental. If you have like big property given by a parent, then fine, then no problem. It's not like you must work even if you have money. It's not like that. Or you lead a very simple life, but still you need to do something to make the ends meet, right? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now, if I am a grahastha type and I join brahmachari ashram, then I am always looking at the Mataji, staring at them. Oh wow, nice figure. Yeah. And I am looking at a grahastha and so nice life, huh? He has his own car, he has nice kids, he also wears colorful clothes, pant shirt sometimes, and I am like, no wardrobe only, single color, and no field of like hair, always this shaven headed. What is this? And I am looking at him fondling his kids, and I should also have kids now. And I am looking at his wife, and I am being lusty. This is nonsense. This is called mithyachari. So I may be physically in the brahmacharya ashram, but I will not advance. I will not get sufficient realization. And tomorrow I'll set a wrong example if I touch a woman, or if I like to code and I like to do some business, and so I'll become a businessman brahmachari, or I'll become a bachelor daddy, or I'll yeah. And devotees are expecting that Prabhu will do some Bhagavad Katha or Kirtan, and he's talking all worldly things only. Because his consciousness is, so better he engages Prabhu. It's like trying to make a chili taste like, sweet rice. How much ever you cook chili with with sugar and all, it is not going to become sweet rice. So the idea is not that chili should also become sweet rice. Idea is that chili also should be offered to the deity. So it becomes chili Mahaprasad. And let the sweet rice also not become chili. Let it also become sweet rice Mahaprasad. So if I have a brahmacharya inclination, or if I have a grihastha inclination, let me become one. And you will see that you will be happy, your sadhana will be sincere, okay, and your, seva, you will be able to maximize your seva. So the seva which grihastha can do, brahmachari, some certain kinds of seva, brahmachari will not be able to do. Grihastha will do very nicely. And the seva which a brahmachari can do. Having said this, one very important thing is this Vaishnavism. So sometimes a brahmachari may also have to do management or dealing with funds or even shops like business in the temple for the sake of Krishna, Guru and Krishna. And that surrender must be there in Vaishnava path. Not like one draws a very hard line. I am a brahmachari, I will not take responsibility in temple construction. Or I am a grihastha, I will not do this or that, No. So sometimes, not like all the time, but once in a while, if it is required, Guru is asking, then one should also be trying his best. Yeah.
Could you give some resources on why grahastha marriage is mandatory but not optional?
Marriage should not be optional.
Why is it not?
Because the grahastha has certain duties, Prabhu. Like one most important thing why a grahastha should definitely marry is because he might end up doing a sin elsewhere. If he's not in brahmacharya ashram, so he's not in grahastha ashram also, so he's alone, na?
Oh, I see.
He'll end up doing sin somewhere, or digitally he'll do. But if he has a woman, then according to dharma he unites with the woman, okay? Then what happens is he will get realizations also because he is following dharma. You will see he'll come out of lust by the time of age of 50 or 60. You ask so many grihasthas who led a dharmic life in grihastha ashram. They are filled with the same realizations which brahmachari is filled with. Because you follow dharma which is given in the shastra, which is given by Krishna. See, it is not grihastha ashram or brahmacharya ashram which purifies. It is a surrender and faith in the instructions of Krishna coming through the Shastras, which purifies, which gives realizations. Interesting, na? And it is also the act of taking responsibility, whether as a brahmachari or as a grihastha. Both have their own sets of challenges and advantages also. Both ashrams have advantages. Brahmachari life is quite free, and in that, it's not exactly free, but I mean, like it's quite a lot of mental freedom and many other things are there. At the same time, one has to deal with one's mind and senses. And there are limits one cannot cross. On the other hand, grihastha has a lot of resources, like which he himself can, like in ISKCON also, grihastha can go anywhere, wherever his job takes. And he can preach, he doesn't need permission. If a brahmachari wants to go someplace and preach, he needs to get local temples permission. Local temples authority must permit him. That is the way ISKCON is also made. So sometimes our mind calculates which one is more advantageous. you try your level best to calculate and analyze. I'll tell you both have plus and minus. Both will purify and both will empower. You see where will you fit better. Where can you perform your sadhana bhakti with a peaceful mind, happily and consistently. And that's your ashram. Okay. Does it make sense, bro? Yeah. What's natural for you is the best for you. There is no comparison. See, this ashram thing, the whole ashram affair is material thing. It's a material aspect. It's like whether you want to honor prasad in a bowl or in a plate or maybe in your hands only, whatever. Okay. The idea is not that having a bowl or a plate or glass is not such a big thing. Main thing is what you put inside it. So if you are a brahmachari and if you are not Krishna conscious, then it's like having a bowl but empty bowl, or having a liquor into it, all the more bad. So the idea is, someone may like to have to drink juice prasad in a glass, someone may like in a bowl, and someone may just like pour in my mouth, whatever. So like that. Both are ultimately trying to serve Krishna only. It's like in a hospital. There is maybe one general ward and there may be one private ward. Private ward comes at a higher cost, but there is a free nurse for personal care. But the general ward may be little austere because there are many people around, but it's much cheaper. Like you go to yatra or like we travel. So like one option is carry so many things, big bags. So you have medicines also, you have so you will not have any tension or trouble. Any need you have in the journey, yes, you have everything practically you are carrying, But if you travel light, then the advantage is you can, light means light, you can just quickly walk. But then the problem is, say you are going on a mountain and if oxygen is less, so the guy with more luggage, he'll have all the supplies, but then so there is more risk in traveling light. But then more risk in the sense, like you may suddenly need something, right? But then you are traveling light, so you can travel fast. And there may be, it's a risk-free, tension-free journey, okay. But then you have to put little more effort to, but then you can, slow but steady, I'll keep going, whatever. And if someone is like that, he can walk. So it's like, there is no such comparison. You do your best and you accept what is natural. That is why Krishna is so merciful. See, he has given 4 types of ashramas and 4 types of varnas also. In services also you will see. Some devotees may be more into certain kind of service. Some devotees may be more. I can tell you, there are devotees like Ravi Gupta, Radhika Raman Prabhu, extremely scholar. You ask him to cook or clean, Prabhu, that's austerity for him. Because he may not be expert at that. On the other hand, there may be some devotees who may be very good in cooking, cleaning, managing an event, doing deity worship, festival. But you ask them to prepare and give a class, Prabhu. So Krishna does not make a classless society that no, everyone has to be like this. Unlike this material world. No, if you are in IT company, then only you will get a good payment. No, Krishna says, you do what you can do best. You do with love. Do it for me. Or someone maybe just, Prabhu, I can do accounts seva, or someone I can take care of the cows, I can tend the cows. Or Prabhu, it is, there is no comparison like that. I'm living for Krishna and I'm doing it out of love. And I'm trying my best. So, like that, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Any ashram, any varna, Krishna. See, isn't Krishna merciful? Think about it. If it is a child, if it is a Mataji, Indian, American, you see like that. Now Chinese devotees are there today. I was hearing their japa because they were sitting next to me. So, because I had heard the Chinese and Japanese, their tongues don't vibrate like to be able to pronounce Hare Krishna mantra properly. And I was able to hear that they can't. But I was thinking Krishna must be so pleased with their japa than mine. I was born in India in a very good family and I'm such a rascal. I am not doing that much actually. I mean, I should have been pure devotee by now, bro, honestly. I'm still trying to be a devotee. What is pure devotee? And these guys, they're born in China. Even that Mataji, she was wearing that kurta and that like Indian, that type, you know. So I was thinking, my God, these are dev-" and then I saw he was trying to help them also. I think I did not get up and, you know, try to help them. So actually, Krishna does not see what we are doing. He sees our entire situation, and he sees what is the background of our mind also, how contaminated we were. Some people are very insecure, some are very introvert, some are struggling more with anger, some more with greed. And which ashram we are in, what kind of phase we are in life, is our body sickly or, you know, not. And then within our given situation, what kind of talents and abilities we have. Within our given situation, how best are we doing? Are we trying to do? And he accordingly blesses. There is no material calculation. There is no material limitation. And there is no material standard expectation or something. That is the beauty of Krishna's heart. Isn't it? Amazing. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. I think we must stop here. It's 8:45. You guys are so eager for Krishna consciousness. You extend and enthusiastically hear. So, and I'm not going to trouble more this. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Acyuta Mohan Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. It's worth coming to US and serving just to get Prabhu's ecstatic Mangalarti.
Yeah. So Prabhu, there is Piyush Prabhu, you might have seen him yesterday. So, Prabhuji, there is a mantra zone in San Jose.
Okay.
So he single-handedly prepares prasadam for all the devotees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's coming for the camp also.
Oh yeah. I remember yesterday he was there in the maroon kurta, that Vrindavan type side. Yeah. He was there in other program also the other day. Yeah, I think here or sometime, one time previously. Nice to meet you, Prabhu. Piyush Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for all the lecture, Prabhu. Really, I really have a question. I can ask you tomorrow when we meet, definitely, Prabhu.
Ye-
Maybe we'll stop the call here, Prabhu. You can
Yes.
personally call Prabhu. We can
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow we
No,
can.
don't stop the call. Stop the recording if you want. I also want to hear it. Prabhu is asking the question.
Okay.
Okay, we'll stop the recording, Prabhu, then.